Reddit asks, why did you cheat on your partner? So simply put, she cheated on me, so I cheated back. Age when story started 22. My age now is 30. The story gets a lot more dramatic. I worked as a pizza delivery guy at the time. I came home from work one day with chocolates and flowers for her. We had been together for 5 years at this point, and she was screwing another guy in our bed. As soon as I entered my apartment and heard sex noises, I knew. I snuck into the frame of my bedroom door and witnessed the act with my own 2 eyes. They never even noticed I was there. I was so hurt by the situation, which I should have confronted head on, that I left my own house and went to my buddy's house and smoked a blunt. He told me I should let her know I caught her and see how she reacted, but I didn't. I was just trying to rationalize what I did wrong a lot. Several hours later, I returned home, gave her the chocolate and flowers, and continued like nothing was wrong. I was a fool. Needless to say, she got ready for her job, which was a night shift security guard, and left around 7 p.m. I sat there for several hours crying after she left. Around 1000 p.m. our roommate called and asked if I could come up to her job and see what was going on with her car. The roommate is also my significant other's best friend. I went up there, figured out the issue with that POS car, and got her back to the house. The battery cable was messed up, if anyone was wondering. After the roommate got home, she cooked dinner, spaghetti and garlic bread. I ate and sat on the couch. I proceeded to stay on that couch knowing what had occurred in my bed earlier during the day. About 300 m I had the biggest emotional breakdown. I began crying to the point I could no longer breathe. As I sat in the dark crying, the roommate came and sat down beside me, pulled my head into her lap and rubbed my head. I'm not quite sure how long we stayed there like that, but I eventually fell asleep. I woke up the following day on the couch with my significant other waking me up. I proceeded to go through this day as well, holding in my emotions, like an idiot. After she left for work again around 7 p.m. I just sat there for hours. Eventually that evening I wrote a letter addressing my feelings and the cheating. It was about 3 pages long. The roommate came in shortly after 10 p.m. and did her evening routine, showering and all that. What happened next surprised me. As I lay on the couch, she came and began to talk to me. She stated she could tell something was wrong. So I told her about the cheating that I had witnessed and all that. I think she was in utter shock because she didn't say anything for like 10 minutes after I told her. This next part is the most shocking because I wasn't expecting it. It also should have been a huge red flag. The roommate asked me, "Do you want to fuck me to get back at her?" I never answered yes, I just jumped on her. We did many different things that night. I also had a new experience with girls who like to be choked. So here is the part where shit goes down. Still not the craziest part, I fell asleep on the couch after that night only to be woken up by arguing around 07:00 hours. My significant other had gotten home and her and the roommate were arguing. The roommate confronted my so about cheating. The words that came out of the roommate's mouth next were stupid. "That's why I let your man fill me up while you were working, bitch." Ooh, those are fighting words. Well, that is exactly what happened, a fight. The fight carried on with me trying to break it up to no avail. Entry was then made by 2 cops, found out later that the neighbors called because they could hear it. Roommate got tased. So got tackled, both of them went to jail. Several hours later the roommate returned after her mother bonded her out. She told me we would talk about this situation later and left for work. My significant other then came by with her sister and dad around 1100 p.m. that night and packed all her clothes and other property. I also had her take the bed because I didn't want it. She left that evening only saying, "I guess you know I'm breaking up with you." I just shook my head yay and she left. So we're gonna fast forward a little to about 8 months later. Little T-bit roommate got pregnant from our one night stand. The roommate was also still staying with me still. Roommate goes into labor. I take her to the hospital and after 14 glorious hours of labor we welcomed our beautiful daughter into this world. After my daughter was born I went outside to smoke a cigarette and across the parking lot I noticed someone who looks quite familiar loading a baby in a pickup truck. I was about 400 feet across a parking lot. At night, I shrugged it off, sure I was overanalyzing the situation. I had myself convinced it wasn't my ex. Well, I was wrong. About 3 months later I get served with some civil paperwork from an attorney requesting I submit to a paternity test. After looking through all the paperwork with an attorney of my own, he was able to provide me with a date the child was born, which was a day before my daughter's birth. I knew then I did see her at the hospital that day. I took the paternity test. I was indeed the father. After a lengthy child custody case, I pay $420 a month in child support and get my son 2 weekends out of the month. I'm also married to the roommate and have a 7-year-old daughter and son now. I did indeed feel like a piece of shit how that whole incident unfolded. But I wouldn't change it for anything in the world. A little advice: communication in a relationship is key. Also, if you don't want no babies, use protection. Although don't cheat, it's just not good.